In your hunter-gatherers to farmers paragraph writing, the directions are found at the top of the page. Please explain how the life of prehistoric people changed as they went from hunter-gatherers to farmers. That's what we've been talking about lately and what our notes have been about. You're going to give 2 specific examples that involve the amount of food available. So how did the change in the amount of food change the lives of the people? That's the focus of this paragraph. The standard is mentioned here. This is actually related to economic standard because we're talking about the supply and demand and how the amount of a certain resource, in this case the food, changed the life of the people. So I have the rubric that tells you exactly what you're going to need to work on. The most points in this paragraph come from your 2 examples, example 1 and example 2. You have to have at least 2. Okay? If you give just a clear example about how the amount of food changed people's lives, that would be a 3. If you go and you include maybe some new vocabulary words, or you add a little bit of extra information based on the things we've read or the things we've talked about, that could be a 4. Okay, those are the ones you're aiming for on this rubric. Same thing is for example 2. So if you don't include a second example, you're down here in the 1s. You need to include 2 examples, and I'll show you kind of what those might look like using our prehistory notes. If I go back to my prehistory notes and vocabulary, I have the hunter-gatherers and farmers. So if I talk about how hunter-gatherers were nomads and they moved place to place, while the farmers stayed in one place because that's where their food was, that counts as 1 example. Okay? It talks about how hunter-gatherers and farmers were different from each other. Then if I talk about, maybe I choose something else from the list about how hunter-gatherers, everyone had to find food, versus in the farming communities, not everybody had to farm. They could specialize in other types of jobs. Maybe I list what some of those other jobs were. That would count as a 2nd example. Your paragraph has to be written to look like a paragraph. Okay, restate the prompt. Give me a little bit of a topic sentence using some of the information from the directions. Give your 2 examples and a conclusion sentence at the end. Okay, that's automatically going to give you at least 4 sentences in your paragraph. Most of the time it's going to be even more than that. Okay? But there's no way you could possibly be finished having fewer than 4 sentences. By including more detail, you'll probably have a richer paragraph. And to get a 4 in this, you can include a quote from the reading that we've done. Probably that would be My World History in one of those sections about hunter-gatherers or about farmers. And including a quote would bring you up to a 4 as long as you've done all the things you need to get a 3. Spelling, capitalization, and punctuation will count because this is a quality piece of writing. I expect 6th grade work. So if you don't have any spelling, capitalization, punctuation errors, that will be over here in the 4s. If you are typing your response, please use a size 12 or 14. Easy to read, something that looks just professionally typed. Easy to read, black colored font. Okay. If you are writing out your paragraph, which some of you may be using the paper to write this out, then you've got some extra space, and I've given you some extra space here, even though you might not need it. You probably could fit your typed paragraph in size 12 or 14 in this white section. So if you have questions, refer back to your notes. Okay, these hunter-gatherers and farmers notes and the hunter-gatherers farmers video that I've made separate to review these two notes. See your social studies book, but then don't be afraid to ask or send me an email if you have more questions.